r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. You've been granted immortality. You're a minimum wage worker with a useless degree and crippling student debt. What's your immortal life plan? Prove the theory about being able to take in nutrients and sustain yourself with sunlight and as a result create a cult. Sell a course, write a book on how to stay young forever and make millions after people see you aren't aging. Same as when I was asked 1200 years ago. Hit people with an axe and take all their stuff. Username checks out. Live in a cave and consume lost explorers. There's a man with a plan. Post on AskReddit to figure out what to do. Well, the good news is that with immortality I'll be able to pay down the student debt eventually. After that I'd probably go back to grad school and get a useful postgraduate degree. You beat cancer and then you went back to work at the carpet store? Boo. Move to the mountains. Find a job. Learn to be as self-sufficient as possible. Enjoy the beauty of nature while living off its bounty. Forever? Not pay that debt because I'm gonna outlive that debt. In 150 years who the hell is gonna even believe I'm still alive? A friend had an outstanding debt with the bank. Got married and moved to Sweden. I don't think she's coming back and I don't think the bank can do much about it. I work hard in a really dangerous and high pay industry and save up as much as I can. Put it all in global indexes and in 100-200 years I'll accumulate enough interest on it to no more have to work. Then you have to move country every 50 years or so no one gets suspicious as to your immortality. Enjoy life as much as I can, and when I'm living off of interests I'd go into the research sector and become an expert in medicine. Cure death and finally not be the only one to live forever. Edit. Damn, this blew up. To all those commenting that invulnerable doesn't mean invincible. In my understanding it does. As far as I am concerned it means no aging, regeneratable limbs etc. Essentially Wolverine or Deadpool. And to the argument that you'll still be on Earth when the sun swallows it. By then the humankind will have colonized the galaxy. So not to worry. I mean, if you are immortal you don't really need money to eat, drink or anything. You could literally walk everywhere you want or do whatever you want without risk of dying. Plus after 500 years everything you own will be a valuable piece of history. In the short term, get some easy money doing extremely dangerous work. Fukushima cleanup. Explosive ordnance disposal in Iraq. That type of thing. Unaging and unkillable are still two different things. But assuming the latter, then yay. Buy Arabot for life, or at least until you get a few million invested. Start selling drugs. If I go to jail, doesn't matter. I'm immortal. Wait for stock markets to crash. Use drug money to buy as many stocks as possible. Get into the inner circles of the rich and wealthy. Go to one of those big satanic meetings they have. Interrupt. Stand tall and declare myself as Michael, the guardian angel. And that I have been sent by God to smite the evil from this land. Assistant films as I pull out a broadsword. Bullets thumping into my body. Video spreads to every major media outlet. Millions see a saint smiting the evil leaders of the world from existence. Use my newfound wealth, power, and followers to make a new religion. Religion calls for peace, unity. Many don't like it but I'm ducking immortal. What are they gonna do? Time passes. Everyone forgets there was a time without my protection. The world is fair. There is still crime. But war has ceased. Science has flourished. And there is now unlimited room among the stars for us. I pass on the torch to a new leader. And disappear until I have to start the whole process again. Cause we ducking suck. That ending part is so true. We would duck it up again. You'd have to wait a couple million years for humans to evolve to not rely on violence in their nature. I mean, if you're immortal, that in itself would be a profitable skill. Someone trapped in a burning building that's about to collapse? Hey, he'll run in and get them. A dangerous dictator is threatening war and genocide. And sending a group in to take him out would be a suicide mission? Hey, I'm free on Saturday afternoon. You won't be minimum wage for long. And there are a billion dangerous jobs out there that pay a lot of money. Like power line maintenance. Or certain oil field workers. They can place you into a drum can and fill it with concrete. Then throw you into the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, how did that Saturday afternoon go? Stop paying for health insurance. Should be fine after that. US. The fine where I live for not having insurance is $500. The amount those crooks take from me is $700 a month. Basically a small mortgage or rent. The insurance covers nothing. No copay. No prescriptions. Not even a yearly physical. The only way I can get the insurance to cover anything is by meeting my deductible of $5,000, which I couldn't even afford. Everyone around me just says go to the ER for everything. Never pay the bill. So I'm just going to start doing that and can the insurance company. When I lived in MA we had a thing called Mass Health. Best ducking thing ever. My wife had 2 surgeries. Her wisdom teeth pulled. Full 30 days of prescriptions for very expensive mood stabilizers and way more things. Over the span of 3 years we were able to get the coverage. My taxes in MA were much less than I pay in the terrible state I live in now, and I can't even get a rash looked at unless I pay $300 out of pocket at the minimum. I'm not an expert, but I would love to hear from someone who has done more research. If a large percentage of people dropped their terrible coverage, like mine, and started letting medical bills pile up, what would be the worst thing that happens to those people? You're thinking small. You're frickin' immortal. What does $1 look like after 1,000 years of compound interest? Want to pay down that student debt faster? You're frickin' immortal. You don't need to eat. You don't need any insurance or medical coverage either. Want to have friends? Too bad. You're frickin' immortal. You'll still be here in 1 billion years when the sun starts expanding into a red giant and boils off all the surface water on Earth. You'll still be here in 4.5 billion years when the sun completes its transformation and the Earth is actually swallowed. So use the money from that $1 investment to fund extraplanetary travel. Also fund artificial intelligence. An eye is the only thing you'll ever have that could come close to a friend. All the other meatbags keep dying. An eye is also the only thing that you'll ever have that could come close to being an enemy. Keep the kill switch closed. At some point you'll surely go mad. Being trapped in the rubble of an earthquake for 10,000 years while entire civilizations are built on top of the ruins before finally erosion. Archaeologists. Or another earthquake eventually freeze you will do a number on your sanity. So will being swallowed by the sun. Find some way to back up your mind. Perhaps your new eye friend could be of assistance. Edit. This comment blew up. I posted a longer, funnier version of this a few weeks ago here. Reddit.com/casual conversation comments CZ52WR/ the problems with immortality. Yeah, I think you'd want some sort of built-in CPU so that you could go dormant and roam around in VR should you ever get trapped or something happens to the Earth. Am I only ever going to have minimum wage? There are 2 ways I see this. If I only ever earn min wage, then I would move to the cheapest area to live in a state with the highest minimum wage. As soon as I could afford a cheap laptop I would do that, and that's basically my entertainment. Really, then it's buy cheap food, cook for myself, pay student loans off by the time I'm 50, and then save and invest. If useless degree and min wage is just my starting spot, then I would try and work for a company where there would be the chance for upward mobility. Still buy laptop. Take free online courses in the meantime. Pay the min required for my debt and slowly work my way up the corporate ladder where I can be CEO by the time I'm 70, because at that point I will have worked in all areas of the company and know the operations and markets backwards and forwards. It's immortality. Like less than 0.0001% of your expanded life will be paying student debt. Even if you default you'd still have eternity to build your credit back up. Lot of comments of but why OUWOULD Ned tweet if you where I am immortal? Well, guess what? You're right. I guess I wouldn't. See how much money we can save? Also, sorry for quoting you sarcastically. You don't think people will be asking questions when a 23-year-old gets hired as the CEO but has over 50 years experience in the business? Lol. Make long-term investments. If I have to live forever, I want to eventually be wealthy. Do everything I can do to avoid black holes until the inevitable happens. Disappear. probably off grid for at least a lifetime. Learn a lot of stuff. Travel to new places. Creating new identities. Just go back to school and get more student debt but study everything I love until I hold loads of degrees in really interesting shit. Art history has always interested me. Go to gallery openings. Mingle and network. Eventually everyone knows me and I end up the world's leading expert in rare art. By this time I'm very old and people are kinda suspicious about how I'm still around. Like, wasn't she young when I was young? She must aged really well. People die and leave rare art to me. Or I become highly adept at dealing black market art. And spotting the next big thing. I'm a remarkably well-known art critic after all. Amass a great fortune and become an eccentric recluse. Everyone thinks I might be a vampire. Create YouTube channel of me doing things that should kill me but don't. Jumping off buildings. Getting rolled over by a tank. That kind of stuff. Slowly begin positioning myself to be a global leader to unite the species and send us to space before turning Earth into a nature preserve with minimum staff left to be caretakers and nurturers of the cradle of our birth. While the species explores the stars. Rob a bank and disappear completely for 10 years. Plot twist. After 10 years inflation your take from the bank is now worth a month's wages at McDonald's. Oh, so it's just like life. But longer. Whatever, I guess. My plan is the same except without getting to die at the end. Go work in a restaurant. Work my way from whatever I started as up to a bartender. Doesn't matter how long that takes, right? Get a couple years bar experience. Save tip money. Bartending makes the most in the restaurant. Much more than most people realize. Use saved funds to move into the area of a respectable college. Get a new bartending gig there. College bars tend to be low tip percentage but high volume. Money is still good. Sign up to audit college classes and anything I find interesting. Most universities have no problem with you sitting in on classes for free. You usually just have to ask. Now I can spend however many years I like becoming knowledgeable on things I find interesting. If I want a formal degree, I can pay for it slowly over time. If not, knowledge is knowledge. Extend this till I have a pretty broad set of skills and wisdom. Then move to an entirely different area and practice these skills. I won't be aging. So I will need to plan in drastic moves. Possibly to different countries. But with wide base knowledge, it is not hard to work your way into positions that pay well and interest you. Keep moving every 10 or so years. And never aim to be famous. If I ever get bored, go back to bartending and auditing classes. Bartending makes you meet all kinds of people. And the new classes will give me new skills to try out. I see you're quite keen on bartending. Couple of clarification questions. Am I still mortal in that I can still die from virus, accidents, cancer, decapitation, drowning, hypothermia, etc. I just don't die from natural causes? Do I still age as normal? Or is this some Highlander shit where I stop physically aging after X? Fake my death and start over. Careful. Don't want to do too many illegal things else you might get a life sentence. Make bare minimum payments on the debt until the company holding the debt disappears for all time. I'd go on TV shows and make lots of money demonstrating my immortality by being shot at point blank range for all to witness. Then, once my reputation was established as an immortal, I'd write a best-selling novel entitled Forever is a Long Time. Right after forcibly spending a century in all kinds of secret government test labs. Stop paying for food and shit. This is the one and only circumstance where you should join an MLM. Sure, the first 40 or 50 years will suck. But imagine when your downline stretches for millennia. Leave the country for some place warm and cheap and let my debtors come after me as I find work in a bar on the beach. Remember Zeus? Yeah. That. Without the powers. Just the sleeping with everyone. I'll at least be entertained. Zeus raped most of his dates. Ducking, like and subscribe.